later today than usual. Apologize. I do a little update for TikTok as well. Got a little behind with all the stuff going on, and plus I was on a couple of spaces. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Let me check over on X, make sure that I'm pulling up okay. Make sure people can hear me. Plus I was on a couple of spaces. Okay, looks like it's working. Let me type a little GM into the good morning into the chat. I'll pull my chat up on this side. Anyway, yeah, we're going to have to talk fast. A lot of news to talk about today. Looking at Bitcoin 66,938, down 1.3% for the day. Ethereum, pull it up there. $2,066. It's down 0.2% for the day. It's actually popped up a little. If we look at the hour here, it's actually kind of come up with the opening of the market. That's nice. XRP, $1.32.3, down 2% for the day. Solana, 81.47, down 3.3% for the day. But if you look at the hourly, yeah, up a little bit with the market opening. Hey, Quantum, GM, Taco Tuesday, Trump and Taco. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the traditional markets here. Opened it. We had an interesting day today. Everything open in green as far as traditional markets going. Futures up well over 1%, yet crypto tanking due to what I believe is a little bit of quantum computing FUD, which is, I'll talk about it here. Like I say, got to talk fast because lots to cover. But yeah, see the NASDAQ up 1.61%. The Dow Jones up almost 1%. So look, we've been kicking their butts, right? We've been doing good every day, no matter what the market does. And yeah, Dow up 1.06, S&P up over 1% as well. And then all of a sudden today, it changes, right? We're down 1 to 4%, depending on the crypto. Solana was down 4% pre-market. And it all comes down to this FUD we're going to talk about. I mean, obviously the war is affecting it, but crypto in general, I'll show you the thing later on in the slides, but basically Google, a couple of different reports on quantum computing, how it could crack computing. Now, for those, I've been here 15 years, right? When the China FUD first came out, it was around, I'd say, September of 2016. It was serious. It scared the hell out of us. Is it going to be the end of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, we'd just gone through the fight between Bitcoin Cash and, the aggressive hard fork. It happened about a month earlier between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, and now China's outlawing Bitcoin, and it was a real thing, man. Tanked the market. We were all in true panic. But for the next 10 years, they just would bring out China's outlawing Bitcoin whenever they needed to try and tank the market. And that's what this feels like. It just feels coordinated because there was the Google report, which I'll show you. We'll get to that, which was a big one. And then there was another one too. I don't remember. I saw another report come out. And that's all that was on my timeline last night. And first off, I just think it's overstated. It's unscientific. It's all theoretical. And we've been through this many times. Remember, Mr. Wonderful a few months ago said, till this quantum threat gets dealt with, people aren't going to put more than 2 or 3%, the big players. So I do agree it needs to be something that Bitcoin needs to put to rest once and for all. I reported about a week or two ago, Michael Saylor's working on an independent deal. Some of the crypto companies or blockchains are already quantum resistance. I think Bitcoin's working on it, and it doesn't affect all the Bitcoin anyway. But anyway, that was what, I don't know. It just feels orchestrated to me. But let's get back to the war. Donald J. Trump kind of coming out, we had France, Italy, Spain, all saying they couldn't use their bases. They couldn't fly over their airspace. Trump came out swinging today with a few tweets, but one of them was this. All those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Straits of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Go to the Strait and just take it. You have to start learning how to fight for yourselves. The U.S. won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil, President Donald J. Trump. So, an interesting tone he's striking today. Kind of an angry Trump, kind of, getting no support from these other countries. So, I think he's talking. He may just pull out. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, we'll have to talk fast to get through all this. We only have about 10 minutes, but thanks for joining me. Happy Taco Tuesday. Looking forward to pounding. My local barbecue has a really good Taco Tuesday with barbecued, I don't know what it is, barbecued pork or brisket, whatever it is. Here's some more angry tweeting. The country of France won't let planes headed to Israel loaded up with military supplies fly over French territory. France has been very unhelpful with respect to the butcher of Iran, who has been successfully eliminated. The U.S. will remember. So he's definitely not happy. And he's been looking to kind of get out of NATO and not fund NATO as much for a long time. I guess I'm going to kick it into high gear here just because I was so late today, but appreciate everyone joining me on YouTube and on X here. But yeah, some good news. Metaplanet, kind of the strategy of Japan, just received $255 million in their latest capital infusion from its latest global institutional fundraising. It's enough to buy 3,800 Bitcoin. This is why we're buying, man. We want to beat these guys to the punch. It's happening. Talk about it every day. Now, Elon came out and said quantum computing could help recover lost Bitcoin fortunes. Forgotten wallets, lost password. The world's richest man has Bitcoin on his mind. That's the thing. Quantum stuff doesn't affect, it only affects the older wallets where, I guess in theory, when they used to expose their public keys, they can kind of reverse engineer it and break it. So like Satoshis and stuff like that, old wallets would all be subject to it. So Bitcoin, the devs and the community has to come out and figure the best way to overcome this. But and lots of news. Ledger CEO said quantum threat is advancing quickly, but Bitcoin remains secure for now due to hardware limits. $12 trillion asset manager Vanguard just disclosed $3 billion in Bitcoin exposure through mass MSTR, MicroStrategies. They won't buy Bitcoin directly. They probably can't. So they're buying the company that buys Bitcoin. That's why you see these big institutions typically buying MSTR or IBIT. They usually can't buy it directly. That could change in the future, but they're not going to want to custody it anyway. This is interesting. Qatar FM says Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan with Qatar are unified in calling for de-escalation, the first coordinated signal in 5 weeks of Iran war. This contradicts earlier reports from Wall Street Journal that key Gulf allies were privately urging the U.S. to keep fighting until Iran is decisively weakened. So maybe they feel like they are decisively weakened already, or they can handle it themselves or whatever. But anyway, interesting, kind of getting some mixed signals. So it'll be an interesting week to see where stuff comes. The Senate just introduced a bill that would certify the U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve under law. 300,000 Bitcoin forever on Americans' balance sheets. We'd like them to get 1 million, right? So, yeah, they're actually trying to get that law passed. So that would be good. Trump hasn't talked about. I've been a little disappointed in Trump as far as not really. And we lost Howard Lutnick. It wasn't Howard Lutnick. It was the crypto and Bitcoin czar. What was his name? Anyway, I think he could only do it for so long without getting officially David Sachs. Yeah, David Sachs. So anyway, I've been a little disappointed. Okay. Iran officially passed a law to formally charge a toll on the Straits of Hormuz, all set to turn over $100 billion. This would be unprecedented for them to take international waters. This isn't going to happen, right? This isn't going to happen, but they want to charge a toll on international waters. It'd be unprecedented. Countries can't do this, right? So, yeah, so this thing isn't over, but it's interesting. It's hard to tell right now which direction it's going to go over the next few weeks. Once again, confusion isn't good for investors. Uh, Nakamoto Inc. sold 284 Bitcoin for 20 million at a 40% loss. Originally bought around 118K per Bitcoin. So this is part of the problem when a lot of these companies these DATs started piling in. That's fine when it's going up, but then when it starts going down, you have this situation. They might have had redemptions, pressure from shareholders, and they wind up selling at a massive loss, lose about, 15, $20 million. So these it's always a risk, right? And like I say, strategy and maybe Metaplanet, some of these other companies, they're still raising money. They've set the right expectations on their shareholders. These other people are panicking and having to dump on the market, which we kind of foresaw this coming. But anyway, notable nonetheless. Circle just minted another $750 million on USDC on Solana. We're seeing this more and more. There's still way more stable coin, of course, on Ethereum, but Solana is really getting a lot over there due to its fast, cheap nature. And we used to see like 25 million, 50 million. Now it's 500 million, 750 million. So they're gaining a lot of steam. And it's a good thing overall, right? We know where stable coins are going. 70 billion wiped out from the crypto market in the last 8 hours. Man, stay away from the leverage, and you just got to wait this out, right? But like I said, I think that was coordinated. I think that's why we're seeing the FUD or the emphasis on that. So, U.S. Senate has confirmed an April markup for the Clarity Act. Senate markup is confirmed for the second half of April. Final passage targeted for May. And Senator Moreno has warned that if this bill does not pass, then digital asset will not receive serious consideration again before 2027. So they need to get this passed for sure. The U.S. needs it. We have, the U.S. as a percentage of global currency is way down from what it was. So I would say that it definitely is something that has to pass. We need this, they got to get it done. End of story. This is the thing, new research from quantum computers need fewer qubits to crack crypto than thought by Google. They're saying that in theory, according to this paper, they would need less hardware to do it, like 1/10, 1/20th, and that maybe by 2029, 2030, they could crack it. Once again, could also crack the nuclear codes, all the banking system, everything else. It wouldn't just be Bitcoin that would be at risk. So anyway, interesting, theoretical. We do need to, Bitcoin needs to get a definitive answer, needs to start working on this. It is true, but once again, feels like coordinated FUD to me. But people get scared. They don't know. They panic. They sell their Bitcoin. More for us. If you have the education, it's an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, just in 10 trillion, I'm sure we'll see a bunch more evidence, a bunch more people speaking on this as usual. They come out with this, people panic, they sell, and then it kind of gets sorted and goes away, and they dust it off, bring it back later. But $10 trillion Morgan Stanley just won New York Stock Exchange listing approval for its Bitcoin spot ETF. Trading expected to begin in the next weeks. So, more big banks coming to crypto. What's the reason why we want to buy it? We talked about the clavicular thing. This is the Attorney General of actually Florida. They're aware of it, and they said he could spend a lot of time behind bars for the dead alligator thing. There's still laws, and here's the problem. You don't want to get on these guys' radars. A lot of what we do, if they want to come after you, they can come after you for it. This is blatant stupidity and breaking laws. Even if the alligator was dead, they could still potentially become felony type level stuff. So just stupid stuff. Careless and cocky, he called it stupid. So anyway, could spend some time in jail, could become a felon, can't even own a gun after that. So really dumb shit. We talked about it. Trying to gain clicks. I saw today some influencer jumped in the mud and almost died, turned into like quicksand. I don't know how he got out. They didn't show that on the clip. Went all the way down. He got sucked in like quicksand. Just stupid stuff, you know. Trump may end the war. This is interesting too. This is what I first saw last night before all the angry tweets. Trump may end the war without reopening the Straits of Hormuz. That happens, the Straits effectively reopens anyway. So, it's interesting, interesting what happens, but they're not going to allow them to be able to, have a control over this. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. This could just be more 4D chess from there, but yeah, gasoline hit $4 for the first time since 2022. That's kind of a politically sensitive area right there. So Trump's feeling the pressure, and he's not going to stay at this too long. So I think he's trying to, either some other people are going to handle it. He's got a balance, but he's not going to also ditch his the Gulf state partners who are investing trillions into the U.S. So it's interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of potential possibilities. You never know with Trump. He's got everyone guessing. Yeah, we don't need the oil. We're oil independent. We're a net exporter. So we also have the Venezuela thing now too. So yeah, we talked about this. Department of Labor proposes rule that would allow Bitcoin investments into 401ks. This could bring about another $16 trillion worth of potential investments there. So it'd be huge and easy on their long-term holders for the most part. Senators are pushing for Mined in America bill for Bitcoin mining. So there might be some tax breaks and stuff like that. All mostly positive. Get this war settled, and we have positive stuff. And like I say, the quantum threat's just FUD at this point. It's not a big deal. It will be dealt with. This is interesting. Netanyahu just said he is in talks with Arab nations to form an alliance against Iran. We're in talks to form an alliance with Arab nations to help fight alongside us. I have in the past held secret talks to Arab leaders on the Iranian threat. So now they know it's a threat. I mean, this would be better, right? Be a better solution. So interesting. There obviously it's really hurting them, but I think America will stay involved as much as needed to be. But yeah, anyway, interesting. It's a really interesting to see which direction this goes. KuCoin, they're going to pay a $500,000 fine to the CFTC over unregistered exchange. Claims firm barred from serving USUs unless it registers. So that was my favorite, one of my favorite exchanges. Love to see KuCoin back, but there's a lot they'll have to do. But under the new regulations, very well they could come here. Last but not least, CZ came and said quantum computing is not a threat to crypto. Crypto can upgrade, adopt, and survive post-quantum, which is obvious, right? We're going to see more and more of this. Like I say, it just feels like organized FUD. Take a last look at Bitcoin. Let's see here. Bitcoin 67,200. Yeah, it's doing better, especially if we look at the hourly chart. Yeah, doing better. Anyway, like I said, I think it's all FUD anyway. Thanks for joining me. Get out, enjoy your tacos. Interesting times. But I expect to see a little bit of a rebound in crypto because once this quantum threat gets settled, I think it's BS. I've been here too long. I've seen this too many times. But thanks for joining me, everyone.